All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Dreamslayer Studios' Marvel Superheroes World War II campaign In the Mouth of Madness. If you haven't been watching our series yet on YouTube, we are partway into campaign 2 of our In the Shadow of Evil campaign. And we already have several episodes of this particular leg under our belt. I usually always try to give a little rundown to get everybody caught up, but I would certainly encourage all of you to seek out the Dreamslayer Studios channel on YouTube so that you can see firsthand what has brought us to this point. But regardless, thank you all for joining us as we continue In the Mouth of Madness. And if you see something that you like tonight, please consider supporting us on Patreon. I also want to make a little quick announcement to let everybody know that we do have our Dreamslayer Studios store up and running now, and we have reached 500 subscribers on YouTube. I'm still working out ways to connect the stores to YouTube, but
Nice.
you can search Dreamslayer Studios on both TeePublic and Teespring. The links will be available in the description of the YouTube videos. I really want to try to put together a nice little t-shirt of our group. But, you know, one thing that we have yet to discuss about this particular group is we don't have an actual name for these guys. You guys have been gallivanting across the globe, and we don't have a name for the group, do we?
We don't.
No.
Yeah. So, a little food for thought, you know. Something to think about. So, give you a little recap about what has happened most recently here. Most recently, on the Mouth of Madness, our heroes have finally made their way to the fabled and hidden city of Wakanda. Here, they have had a meeting with King Azuri, Atlantean priest Namor, and the inventor Howard Stark, who have begun the process of analyzing the Dropa Stones, believing them to have been created before the fall of Atlantis, possibly of Atlantean vibranium rather than Wakanda. King Azuri has graciously set up temporary housing for the troop while Stark and the Wakandan scientists dive deeper into the intricate carvings of the stones. While taking in the sights and sounds of Wakanda, our group has suddenly been interrupted by a giant monstrosity that has climbed from beneath the earth, along with a group of animal-human hybrids under the leadership of a man called the High Evolutionary, ruler of a place called Wundagore. The team joined forces with Black Panther and Namor, who pretty much just kind of watched all the action go down and pointed and laughed at times. And they have succeeded in driving the Animan, Giganto, and the High Evolutionary back, and now find themselves in need of tending to one of their own. Mr. Arcane has fallen. Wizard needs food badly.
Hannah's doing full screen food.
So that's basically where we are.
One session.
I know, just one session. I try to kill you off.
And Shelley took that personal.
So where we basically left it was High Evolutionary and the other ones, the Animan, finally going down. Mr. Arcane indeed did take some pretty hefty damage, but if you'll note, Johnny, I went on ahead and did the typical kind of healing process that we normally go through, and you are up to, I think, at least half health right now, but you took a pretty good wallop in that last session.
All right.
As the battle kind of subsides, the streets are starting to kind of come to life once again. People are starting to kind of peer out windows and open the doors and just check to see, you know, kind of what is going on. It's been a fairly loud and intense battle for the last several minutes, but things seem to have calmed down quite a bit. But there is a giant creature that is laying in the middle of Wakanda. right now. The Dora Milaje have come to the center of the town square here and are speaking with Azuri, the Black Panther. And apparently, these Animen had found their way in through a couple of other subterranean tunnels, apparently, that had been kind of pre dug from underneath the city. And they are in the process right now of clearing those tunnels and making sure that there are no more of these Animen that are hiding out anywhere here in or under the city. Azuri calls a team of scientists out to work on trying to subdue the giant creature and put the rest of the Animen and the High Evolutionary into restraints. So there's a lot of hustle and bustle going on right now. Azuri certainly, takes a moment to thank all of you for your assistance in helping to take these infiltrators down. But right now, his most important procedure is to try to calm the rest of the country down, most specifically the city that we are in currently, and help clean up the streets. If you want to stick around and assist in that, you're certainly welcome to. It's going to be probably several hours worth of work. And you do know that the plan was to meet in the morning at some point to kind of see what progress has been done on deciphering the Dropa Stones. So at this point, I'll turn it over to you guys, and you just tell me what it is that y'all want to do in the meantime.
I guess I would help me set our ancestors, whatever they need.
Most of them are kind of spreading out across the city and kind of taking a look at some of these kind of sinkholes. That's what they kind of look like in the earth, and kind of climbing down and kind of following the tunnels and so forth. If you join them, you are actually able to kind of find a larger tunnel that was obviously bored by Giganto, the giant creature that crawled out of the earth. And it almost looks, if you really kind of put two and two together, it almost looks like he reached arms through certain areas that he was digging and just poked his finger out here, poked his finger out there to kind of create these other access points. And obviously, he did not seem to you guys, as you were fighting him, did not seem very intelligent. But it seemed like the driver, the High Evolutionary, was probably controlling his every move.
Makes sense.
I think that Priest would probably take the robe that he's had on him off. At this point, he's no longer translucent. He was easily seen with blood spatter from Giganto all over it. He's wiping off of his hands, and it's like, I totally ruined this thing.
Is it red blood or is it something different?
I think it was green, right? Didn't we determine that?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Seems like it would be green.
He says, it sounded like this fellow knew something about the stones. Like he came here specifically for them, didn't he?
He said he wanted them returned to him.
Yeah.
Something about Wundagore.
So maybe we should.
Does that name mean anything to you, Hank?
That's a good question. And
Wundagore's a lot like Atlantis, I thought, until very recently was made up.
maybe I can roll. Let's see here. So, Chris, what do you think? Would that be? Sorry, let me find my talents. Would that be a cultist or
Yeah, I think a
um,
cult would probably help.
I mean, it's just a cult or a scholar of antiquities is what I've got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, that is +2. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Ian says that the his character's human tank would be lifting rubble and helping search parties look for survivors.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, that works. Okay, so Mr. Arcane, you got a 74 on your
Yeah.
roll to kind of determine what, or if you had heard of Wundagore Mountain.
Hmm.
And you certainly have heard of it. It is, as Will had mentioned, something of a land of myth that most people, really don't believe is actually a real thing. But we now know that Atlantis is a real thing, and the fabled city of Wakanda is certainly a real thing. So it's not much of a stretch to assume, like Camartage, Wundagore would be a
Kunlun.
real thing as well. And
I
Kunlun,
hear
yes.
you.
So Wundagore technically is really not a country, as the High Evolutionary claimed. It
Okay.
sometimes can be referred to as the Kingdom of Wundagore. It can sometimes be referred to as the Land of Wundagore. Um, in the old days, in kind of what would be probably considered the Hyborian Age, it was
Mm.
called Vandagore.
Okay.
But it rests in the Transian mountain range in the Eastern European country of Transia.
Okay.
Um, the in most recent years, there was a man, probably right around about the turn of the century, by the name of Herbert Wyndham, that had made an expedition into the Transia mountain range in order to try to find this fabled city. He took a group of individuals with him, and they were never heard from again. But the man was not an explorer per se, he was a geneticist.
Okay. So a geneticist goes off into some mountain range to look for a city that probably doesn't exist or is a myth. And now there's this group who claims they're from the kingdom of Wundagore,
Mm-hmm.
but no such there's no such kingdom.
It is really the probably referred to as Mount Wundagore,
Okay.
more specifically. Now,
Okay.
when you think of Wundagore and you think of Mount Wundagore, and especially going back to the old reference of Vandagore, Vandagore
Mhm.
certainly rings a bell with you and your occult
Mhm.
knowledge.
Okay.
Because there is a certain chamber, supposedly somewhere in Vandagore, where the being known as Chthon began to write a particular book.
Uh-huh.
A book that you had in your possession not so long ago.
The Darkhold.
The Darkhold, yes. And it was named after that particular chamber, the Dark, Darque, hold.
Gotcha. Okay, so where is Mr. Arcane right now? Is he Is he like laid up somewhere?
Well, I mean, I think
is
that
he on a stretcher? Or...
everybody kind of came to his aid, patted him on his back, said, "You'll be okay," and he's kind of regathered himself at this point. I mean, he's injured, for sure, bruised, maybe has some cracked ribs.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But I mean, he's mobile.
Okay. Okay, so now that he's kind of come to, and there's people around, I guess Spartan maybe went off somewhere. Is that what
Yeah,
I understood?
Spartan kind of went off with the rest of the Dora Milaje and was scouting the tunnels.
Oh, that makes sense.
And Human Tank is working on trying to, look for anybody that might be injured in some of the rubble and so forth. So kind of helping out a little bit there.
And where is the High Evolutionary right now?
He is. Let me see if I can see.
He was captured, right? You guys captured him, right?
Yeah, they the Dora Milaje are working on rounding up everybody. So yes, they do have him bound and are taking him to a holding area.
Okay.
Pardon?
Okay. Well, now that he's had a minute to take a breath and collect himself, maybe perhaps some visions while he was unconscious.
Ian is updating Zoom on his laptop and trying to connect.
Okay.
That poor guy's having a hard time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think this concussion probably reminded me of something, jarred a memory. When we're all together, I can share it. He says to probably Shelley, I'm sure, and maybe.
Oh, she's
Will.
right there.
Yeah.
She's right there.
Yeah. Oops. Caught me not looking. He caught me not looking.
He was moving very fast.
He hits like a truck.
I
He hits
was
like
not.
3 trucks.
I was not expecting that,
Yeah,
but I was busy with other things.
it's okay. I probably should improve my warding.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he's kind of a one-trick pony. So you took the worst hit he could give.
Good. Well, I'd rather it be me than anyone else. So
I wouldn't.
it's fine. It's fine. Well, so I know some. It brought to mind, when I was taking a little nap, something that I remembered about not so much Wundagore, but an older name, Vandagore, which is much older, and it ties back to that book, that damned book, he says, because that's the opposite, right? The Darkhold is kind of the opposite to the Vishanti, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So that damned book. So we should probably discuss that with the kings. They should probably know about that, but it ties into that damned book.
Does this guy have any kind of magic-y stuff? He didn't seem like the sort.
I kind of didn't get a chance to check,
you?
but I could.
My mainframe, my desktop is still restarting. I just said to hell with it and dragged out the old laptop. The
All right.
game must go on.
Good to have you back, buddy. We got you.
COVID, computer problems, nothing stops the tank.
You got it.
Nice. It's always good to have a throwdown. What I say?
I would say, Mr. Arcane, why don't you make an intuition roll for me?
Okay.
I mean, if he does magic, he's not very good at it. So
I'll use karma.
He can't hear all this, can he?
Just
High Evolutionary is
High
he just
Evolutionary.
laying over there, listening to us talk shit about him?
just to be clear on one thing, I currently don't see a map that we're on. We're just kind of scattered around on the game
Right.
background? Okay,
Yes.
that's fine.
No,
That's what I got you on. Yeah.
I'll
Got
spend
another
karma.
yellow.
So
Okay, get it up to the red.
sure, I want to
So
know
I
as
would
much about him as I
say
could.
kind of retroactively, because I was playing your character and was not maybe playing him completely true to the way that you would play it.
Fine.
At some point during that battle, more than likely you probably reached out to try to see exactly what this guy was and kind of get a feel for what you were up against. He was attempting lots of different things. He was not succeeding very well at most of them.
Okay.
He was having a bad time.
Was there any spell casting?
You do not detect, or did not detect, at any point during when he was utilizing any kind of power set, any kind of real, true arcane spells, magic of any type. So whatever
Okay.
it was seems natural, scientific, but just maybe unnatural,
Okay.
but not magic.
It's certainly not mystic.
Right.
Or effective. Also not effective.
Or effective. I hope you
Okay,
know
no,
too
he's-
that those rolls that I was rolling for the High Evolutionary passed on to my next game
Oh,
and
no.
my next game. I just kept rolling shitty and shitty and
I
shitty.
I don't think you rolled like above a 20 for him on anything except for the attack on Mr. Arcane.
Yeah.
Of course. You're welcome. You're welcome. That's my luck power that I use for the rest of you. You're welcome.
My Galaxies group went up against the Serpent Society, and they just tore through the majority of them like butter. Just whip, whip,
I mean, it is a serpent society.
That's true.
I mean,
That's true. Yeah. Some of those
Bunch of
guys have got
three-time
some
losers.
power.
I was about to say, some of them are tough.
Yeah.
Come on.
Not for you.
No,
guys.
not the ones from Invincible, the actual Serpent Society from Marvel.
Come on. Also not them. Anyway, all right. So he'll relay and say no. Whatever power he has, it's certainly not mystic in nature. So it's curious that he says he's from this place, Wundagore, also known as. Am I saying that right? Wundagore? It's Wundagore, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wundagore.
I'm thinking they're mostly hype, honestly. It just.
Well, the Darkhold is no joke. That is true evil and power. So that's true, and that is where it originates.
Okay.
Now they don't seem to have any inkling of its power. I don't know the connection, other than they claim to be from there. So
Well,
that
I mean,
would probably go ahead.
We have him and what, 2 of the Animen as prisoners?
I think you got most of them, in all honesty.
Well, we
Okay.
could question them. It seems like the thing to do.
Because it was
That
what
seems prudent.
Snow Queen got taken out without actually getting hurt at all.
Oh,
And
good.
I don't think any of them died, did they?
The
Oh, wait,
mouse,
no,
Yeah.
Shelley murdered someone.
the mouse did. Namor squished her.
Right.
And then there were a
Seems
couple
unnecessary.
others that did, and unfortunately I kind of erased all of them as we went, so I don't know really. I can't recall exactly who, but there's enough for you guys to kind of question for sure.
I
Yeah, I
think it was
suppose
just
this
the
is war.
crocodile character who bought it. The rest of them, I think we just subdued,
Mhm.
except for the one Namor
That
killed.
sounds correct. I think that's the one that Shelley murdered.
Thanks.
You're
What?
welcome.
What?
Shelley murdered the crocodile guy.
Did not.
It was an
An accident.
accident.
Did you hit him with a sword?
That wasn't what got him.
So the sword wasn't enough.
No, it was the lightning. Apparently, he didn't react well to it.
So you stabbed him and electrocuted him, but it was an accident.
Wasn't trying to kill him. Just trying to knock him out.
You know what happens to a
Really?
crocodile that gets struck by lightning?
The same thing as everybody else. Well, so Hank will walk over and put his hand on her shoulder and give her a little squeeze. Look, this is war, and things happen in war, unfortunately.
Just don't.
Suppose
What's
he
he
knew the
doing? Just running into the middle of a city and just like starting to smash stuff. Like,
Well, think
really-
about all the people, right? So he
Yeah.
waves his hand towards all the, I'm sure there's, I mean, this was right in the middle of, what's the main city? What's the name of the city?
I think
Whatever
it's
this
just.
city
I think it's just
Cab.
the city of Wakanda.
Wakanda.
Yeah.
Well, so he says that this city, whatever, wherever we are in this foreign land, they can't just pop up. I mean, think about, all these poor people.
Yeah, I don't understand what.
I mean, honestly, what did they think was going to happen? If it weren't us, it would be their defense. I mean, look at, surely there's one of the Dora Milaje somewhere around, carrying swords and spears.
Honestly, based on the posing, I really think they just expected them to hand over the stones.
Well, then that was foolish, right?
I
I
agree.
mean,
I agree.
think about what would happen if they showed up in the middle of, any.
They're idiots. I mean, you a lot of effort into building this beautiful, beautiful city and keeping the rest of the world from even knowing it exists.
Mhm.
They're not just going to roll over.
Well,
Some giant
I mean,
monster shows up in the middle of town.
What if they rolled up in the middle of New York or LA or any like big city, right? This is certainly as big as any major metropolitan city in the US, right? Stuff is going to happen. The National Guard's going to get called. And let's see. Was there National Guard then?
Yeah, National Guard's been
National Guard.
around for a while.
It's a thing.
Okay. Anyway, the military, they call, well, so Hank would probably say they'd call the army, right? They'd call the army out because he's not a soldier. He doesn't know. They'd call everybody.
Oh yeah,
What
Well,
did they
the
think was
human
going to
tank-
it's just kind of.
The human tank brings up something that's kind of important to recognize here too that might be worth asking them. Wakanda is not a city or a nation that lets it be known that they exist. But
Good point.
this person was able to know that those stones were here and find this place. So it might be
I
good
wonder-
to find out more information about that in case there are other people who might come here to attack this city while those are here.
That's an
That's
excellent
another great
point.
question. How did he know they were here?
Yeah.
Well,
Sounds like
one
we have
thing,
a lot of questions.
I am not like smart about this magic stuff. I mean,
No, you're
you know,
not.
I go to a guy who does the card tricks on 42nd Street. He still fools me. But everything I've seen, and I've seen more than I wanted to see over the last year, is like magic, like send signals or something that the smart people, and I'm pointing to Dr. Arcane, can pick up. It's like everyone always seemed to know where the artifacts we were going after were. We all kind of got there at the same time. So it's like there's some kind of like the radio. I mean, I know it's not radio, but kind of like a magic radio, I guess.
Well, he points like pointedly at the High Evolutionary. He's like, that is no mage. So how he found it, I don't know. But he didn't use mysticism.
Let's ask him.
There was some kind of.
Yeah.
Howard said there was some kind of mechanisms or something inside
Some
the
circuitry or something, right?
yeah.
Some
Circuitry.
tiny wires.
And
Yes.
Namor was talking about how a time existed where, at least in his estimation, there was the possibility of matching and technology having some interconnectedness. So that might have some play here too.
That sounds ridiculous,
It does.
says Mr. Arcade. He can't even fathom. He's like, I don't even understand what you're saying. I don't.
His Majesty said he was going to take them to the lab or something.
Yeah, they are working on them as we speak. Really, Howard Stark and several of the Wakandan scientists are working on deciphering them and seeing really what their purpose is.
We should count our blessings that Howard wasn't out here when the big guy showed up, or he probably would have got stepped on.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a small break to the action, but it's something that I thought I should mention out of character. I wanted to wait till Mr. Arcane's character was being played by the actual player, though. I just finished my rewatch of all the great things that y'all have gone through. And one of the things that I noticed in it was the 7 cities of heaven was mentioned. I don't know if that's tied at all to the riddle that we're working with, but since Gates of Heaven is included in it, I kind of wanted to call back to it just in case it was something. But my character, of course, doesn't know any of that, so I figured I'd do it OOC. But yeah, that's that.
Okay. 7 cities of heaven.
Well,
To be honest with you, I don't recall that, but
Are you the player familiar with that at all?
to me,
Yeah.
I am looking it up now. So I see Kunlun as part of it, and
Yeah.
Kunzi, which is,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I guess, the sister city.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm not overly familiar with that.
Kanwartaj and Kunlun in the games were said to be 2 of the cities, but the other 5 weren't really talked about, and I, as a player, don't know anything about it outside of what I watched. So since I thought that the characters, especially Mr. Arcane, might have remembered that particular phrasing and applied it to the riddle, figured to bring it up.
I'll be honest with you, I don't recall that one. That must have been a while ago.
It was.
I think it was right before you guys entered Kunlun. I think in the conversation with the Ancient One, if I remember correctly. I think.
Oh, okay. All right. There was some talk about the cities. Yeah, that's been a while. I guess I should rewatch that episode, but I don't remember that. But you're right. I mean, that does sound like something Mr. Arcane would recall. He's got a much better reason than I do.
And I think based off of that, and knowing that he has enough knowledge, and if he knows of like Wundagore and so forth, he would have at least a working knowledge of the existence of the 7 cities of heaven, but he may not know the exact names of them. And I think, if I remember correctly, you as the player even were surprised to find out that Kunlun itself was not just a myth. So
I know
that
may have been Will, actually.
That was before Will even was a part of the group.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they went to Kunlun as kind of the grand finale of In the Shadow of Evil.
Oh, gotcha.
And getting the Necronomicon in the Darkhold, in fact.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
Shelley gave the Red Skull the High Evolutionary treatment.
Mm-hmm. Now, trying to make some sort of correlation between the 7 cities and Wundagore. I mean, if you want to make another reason feat on something like that, you certainly can.
Sure, I will. Yeah, and I'll spend karma on that too. Would my occultist help or no?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll get that to a yellow.
Okay. And this will probably sound a little lame, but when it comes to magic and mythology, to a certain extent, everything is connected.
Okay.
And one thing begets another. As far as drawing a direct line from Kunlun, the 7 cities, to Wundagore Mountain, there is a web that you would have to connect the dots to try to get there. You'd get there for sure.
Gotta get your murder wall started.
Yeah, but there's not a direct line to that.
So it's not one of the 7 cities.
No,
that I'm aware of.
Not that you're aware of. Yeah.
Okay.
7 cities is an Eastern myth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and admittedly, I thought of it more in relationship to that Gates of Heaven part of the riddle. that's on the stones themselves. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, sorry for the aside. Just
No,
something that I
that's
noticed.
that's good. I mean, honestly, it's good that you brought it up because I'll be honest, I had totally forgotten about it.
I too run into the problem of playing a character who is smarter than me. So,
yeah, yeah, knuckle dragger. Yep.
yup.
So okay, so I suggest we take him into the. I presume the palace has some sort of. I don't know. It's a palace. I presume a dungeon or jail or
Yeah,
something.
they've pulled him into what they refer to as like a holding area, and if you wish to speak with them, the Dora Milaje will kind of run it up the chain and get you the permission that you need to go in and have a little interrogation should you desire.
Just to
I mean,
just to put it out there for everybody, when they first showed up, 2 or 3 of them did beeline straight for the palace. I don't know if that means they knew something important was in there, but that was definitely
or if they
something
just guessed.
Maybe.
Let's see. Do I have a? Yeah, I mean, I think we should, with the king's permission, talk with him, or perhaps the king probably wants to have his. What are they? Subjects, whatever. I don't want to say the wrong words here
His
in
people.
this foreign land. His people, his staff. Speak with him. I mean, they did invade this country, so. But I would like to be present so we could at least have some input.
I think his people may be a little bit busy cleaning up the damage, honestly, and kind of exploring exactly how far back that goes. I don't know if he has specific people for this, but it may be that he farms this out to us.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm comfortable trying to ask.
And the Dora Milaje do kind of run things up the chain, as I said, and Azuri is certainly more concerned about cleaning up the streets, checking on his people, and so forth. And that word may truthfully never even actually reach him about your request to speak with them. But whoever it is that is in charge of whatever prison organization that they have there around the palace to be able to confine these individuals has already heard about your participation in the attack and protecting the citizens, and that you are here under Azuri's grace, that he will allow 2 of you to go in and speak with the prisoner.
Oh, okay. Well, who should go?
I don't think it should be me.
Yeah, I'm not really the interviewing type unless it involves, kind of a, talk or I'll hit you again. And probably that's not the right thing to do. We are in, someone else's country.
If
It
I go
should
in with
be you
somebody,
and Will.
I was supposed to say, if I go in with somebody else, I can try to pick things out of his brain when you bring up subjects and see if maybe we can get something that way. Might let something slip.
Seems like Will
okay.
and Mr. Arcane are usually the best suited for these scenarios.
Well, I mean, it's at this point, Shelley or Priest or I, along with Will. So,
You.
okay.
I don't. I mean, I know what I'd ask him, but it's like I'd be done asking questions in about a minute. I'm sure you can think of other stuff that
Yeah, my question would be more to the intent of if you tell us what we want to know, I'll stop the pain.
Yeah, we got some.
Wow.
We got two bad cops here. We need some good cops.
That is a little game I like to call Bad Cop, Worst Cop,
That is true.
which
Oh,
sometimes.
You've been to New York then? Okay.
Ah,
No, I was an English teacher. I'm used to causing pain.
Well,
Bad
Would
Cop,
it-
Worst Cop.
would it make sense to try to talk to any of his followers before we actually go to him?
Probably.
I was thinking the same thing.
Probably. Were there any of them that seemed more reasonable? I was kind of
mean-
occupied with him and whatever that was.
The
You might
lion
wanna-
guy was definitely not reasonable, but he is, I think, dead.
yeah, that
Um,
big green King Kong thing was really where I was going focused.
I would
The-
maybe try the one that you didn't hurt a lot. The
No,
white
at all.
kitty
I
one.
just put her to the side.
Yeah.
That's worth a
She's
shot.
probably not that mad, or less mad than the ones who are,
I don't know. She might be pretty aggravated. You'd be surprised.
Okay, well, let's try that one first. Who is this again?
I think that one's Snow Queen. Does that sound right?
Yeah,
They're all
she
animals,
was-
right?
She was
Right.
a snow tiger, I think.
Snow
Snow
leopard or
leopard, yeah.
tiger
Snow
or
leopard,
something. Yeah.
Mhm.
And now, Chris, just for clarity, they're not lycanthropes as far as Mr. Arcane gets a sense of that.
Yeah, they're not able to change back and forth. They are literally a hybrid.
Okay.
Almost like some geneticist went fucking crazy.
Right. Oh yeah, no, I get it. But Mr. Arcane doesn't know that. He's like,
That would be utterly insane. That kind of
Like, who would
technology
do
is-
that? That's
I know.
that's
no one
why
would do
that's
that.
why would
just
you do that?
beyond the pale of crazy. That's nobody would do that.
Nobody would do that. That's crazy.
kind of guy who'd have his face peeled off by a raccoon. That's the kind of guy who would do it. Nobody wants
Right.
that.
Never.
Doesn't
Let's
even
go-
know what a geneticist is.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Well,
The doctor,
remember,
okay.
DNA is still 10 years from being discovered.
I was
in
about to
the
say,
real world.
honestly, geneticist is kind of a heavy lift for anybody.
Yeah.
So
And then you have that monk that played with
Yeah.
me.
I mean, right now, the gen word is usually found in the term eugenics, and let's
Okay.
just not go there.
Okay, so Chris, hear me out.
Mhm.
So Mr. Arcane has a bookstore, right? That's his deal. He's a bookish guy,
Mhm.
and in many of the places we go, he looks for bookstores. So the Island of Dr. Moreau is a story from 1896.
Yep.
Right. So about this time, it would be, around and have been around for a while, right?
well, the first stirrings of it would have been Darwin, and that's even before that. And so, I mean,
Well, I
the
mean-
concept is definitely there.
Yeah, so I mean, this is H.G. Wells, published in 1896. I just looked it up.
Yep.
Surely there's got to be some sort of bell that rings there. Like, do we, or
Probably
is
for a
that?
bookstore
You want me to
owner.
make a reason?
No, I don't think you need to at all. Being a bookstore
I
owner,
wanted to
that's a
bring this
definite
in.
connection. Yeah.
Island of Lost Souls was a movie in 1932 based on the book with, sexy panther women. So that
That
would
don't
be
sound bad.
period appropriate for
So
our.
Tank would have seen that.
He might have snuck into it. He would have been a little young in 1932, but hey,
Okay, so
Prime viewing years.
so armed with that, idea, we go and talk to Snow. Did you say Snow Queen?
Snow Queen. Yeah. hmm
Did they give their names or anything, or do we?
No, not really.
No,
Okay,
we'll go
They-
talk to the cat chick.
the Catwoman. Okay.
Don't tell her
yeah,
what happened to the mouse lady.
head on down.
Maybe they don't like each other.
I mean,
I was
maybe
about
it's
to say she
possible.
probably chased her a bunch. I'd have to guess.
Find a picture of our little Snow Queen here so you can see it.
I'll be honest, I thought that book was a little bit later than that, but oh, okay.
Oh, see, now I see why Will decided to keep her safe to the side. Okay.
Now, I will
Oh,
say that the
geez.
warden here, that is kind of in control of these cells, lets you know all of them are sufficiently subdued. If you are wishing to question them,
Uh-huh.
I think you perhaps have made one of the better choices to speak with the Catwoman.
Okay. When you say subdued, what do you mean?
They,
Like like medicated or
well, some of them have been medicated to a certain extent, but we have something that our scientists have created. Occasionally, we do run into individuals like yourselves with certain powers, and these are power dampeners.
Oh, okay.
We have collars, and we have gauntlets that we place over their hands to
I
prevent
see.
them from injuring us should we go in.
I see. So restraints of some kind.
Yes.
I see.
Now, I should warn you, yes, that you've made the wisest choice to speak with the Catwoman, but all of these hybrids are feral. They are
Oh,
I
intelligent,
see.
but many of them are not excellent at communication.
Do they
understood.
Are
do,
they?
do they speak? Now, I assume he's speaking in English, right?
Uh, the warden,
Mm-hmm.
yes, yeah.
Okay. Do they speak? I mean, do they like, or do they just like vocalize like, "Rawr"? I mean,
The
I didn't really get
bigger,
a chance.
the bigger, dumber ones, we've not heard much from.
I was supposed
A
to say,
few words here and there.
I heard them saying things during the fight.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They do speak, but some of their vocabulary is limited.
I see.
But I think this cat woman is one of the more intelligent of the bunch.
Okay. Okay. Well, is there anything you'd like us to ask her? He asked the warden.
I will wait for His Majesty.
I see. I see. Okay. Well, show us the way.
Right. And he basically walks you into kind of a cylindrical kind of center point here within the. It's kind of an outlying building that's close to the palace, but not really attached.
Okay.
Probably for good reason. And this little cylindrical kind of room kind of branches off in all directions to small kind of corridors that in turn branch out into like three separate like dome like rooms. And he walks
Okay.
you towards one of them, presses some buttons on a keypad, you can hear like clicks. It's not digital, so it's like literally almost like a typewriter kind of thing where he's like punching in a code. And then the door clicks open, and then he lets you come inside, pulling it closed as you and Will enter.
Okay.
And the Snow Queen is seated in the corner. There is a small table and chair that are bolted to the ground. There's a toilet off in one corner and a cot off in the other
Stainless steel
corner
toilet.
as well. Yeah.
No letterbox?
No litter box. Maybe that's the problem. She's just crouched in one corner, and she's got the gauntlets on her hands, and she has both of those kind of down in front of her and sitting in a crouched position.
So,
Hey.
so Mr. Arcane walks in and he nods at Will, and Good afternoon.
And she growls.
Nice to see you again too.
Oh,
Look,
okay.
we none of us want to be here. I don't, you don't. But here we are. And you had to know that we're going to have some questions for you and um, what's his name? The high.
Evolutionary.
Oh no, he knows.
I know.
The
That was Will.
high, the leader, the guy,
We,
the high.
we call him Master.
Okay. Well, I think he called himself the High Evolutionary.
That was a telepathy roll to see if I could get into her head.
Okay.
Nice.
Let me see what she can do to. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, you're in there.
Oh!
Hey, look, equal opportunity. Rolled the same thing.
Oh, yeah. One's just a little better than the other.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I don't know. I'll let you resolve that. I don't know.
am I picking up anything on what has been said so far?
What are you looking for?
Kind of unguarded thoughts, like those kind of flashing impressions when you first say something, where something pops into your head that you may not necessarily want to share with other people.
Gotcha.
So you kind of hold that back.
Okay. I mean, she's been truthful so far. That she certainly refers to him as Master. She probably maybe has never even heard the name High Evolutionary until he introduced himself to someone else.
So, how did you and your allies, I guess, come to be here? Why are you here?
We followed the Master. We are here
Okay.
at his request.
Okay. Why is he here?
He seeks his possessions. He seeks the stones.
Have you ever seen him have these stones before?
We have many of the stones.
At Wundagore.
Yes. In the kingdom of Wundagore.
Well, if he has so many of the stones, why are these here?
They were stolen from him.
But by whom?
That is not for me to know. And she's not lying. Will.
So Will gives Mr. Arcane a very slight nod.
He nods. So I don't know how to ask this in a polite way, but I've never seen any. Well, that's not true. I've not. Well, okay. I've not seen anyone like you. You don't look like us. He looks over at Will. You don't look like them, and he kind of nods back towards the warden. Um, what what kind of person, he'll say, are you?
We are not person. We are animal. We are man. We are any man.
Well, that's catchy.
He nods. That is
Like
catchy, but where did you
branding spot on.
where did you come from?
We come from our home. From Wundagore.
Okay, Of course, that was the answer, but I meant,
Yeah, just
how did
walked
you
into that
come
one.
to, yeah, how did you come to be, is what I'm asking.
I do not
Do you understand what I'm,
understand.
So, I mean, do you like have a mom and a dad who gave each other a special kind of hug,
oh,
or are we talking like you were like made in a lab?
The master is our father.
Oh, that's got all sorts of implications. Um,
And remember, when a human and a kitty love each other very much, they
They give each other-
violate the comics
No.
code.
that
No,
special
that is-
hug.
see. Are there others like you in Wundagore still?
Many of us. It is a kingdom.
I see.
What's your name?
Good point.
I am called Snow Queen.
Okay, nice to meet you, Snow Queen. Do you want a glass of water?
A glass of water.
Are you
Some
thirsty?
water to drink.
I will take a bowl.
Okay, wasn't going to go there, but I'll see what I can do. Uh, call out to the warden and ask for a bowl of water.
How far away do you think Wundagore is?
Far, far away.
Am I getting an image of it in her brain when she says that?
Yeah, and I mean, you do see a mountainous area, and you see a rather sizable village within a valley in this vast mountainous range. And you've seen the architecture here in Wakanda. It is not as advanced as that, but it has the same kind of feel as a mixture of like a tribal quality mixed with a strange kind of high-tech kind of look. But the people that you're seeing in your mind's eye are all hybrids. You're not seeing anyone that is simply human, and you're not seeing any like actual animals.
So are the hybrids, are they like family units of similar hybrids, or are they just all intermingled? Like, do they have like a bunch of lions live here, a bunch of tigers live here, a bunch of bears live here, that kind of thing?
You probably need to make a psyche feat for that. Or telepathy one.
I'd rather do a psyche one, but telepathy.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's what I said first. Yeah, that's fine.
I win!
What'd you get?
69.
69.
69.
Oh, shit.
Okay,
Nice.
so with that, the Snow Queen's eyes roll back in her head. And you see everything. You basically witness her entire life from start till this point within moments. And it begins in a petri dish. And then into test tubes, and then into kind of a gestation tube and so forth. And she is literally grown in front of your eyes. She becomes a kitten-like creature that begins to walk and looks really like a snow leopard in infancy. But then its features begin to kind of elongate a little bit. Its appendages begin to elongate a little bit. The legs kind of begin to kind of turn around and look more human-like and so forth. And it's a painful process. As these things begin to mature, they are kept in these containment units as they transform and grow
Okay.
into adolescence. And the whole process takes about a year or so.
Sounds like it would put a lot of stress on their bodies.
Yeah, yeah.
So kind of awful.
Yeah, it's torture for these tiny creatures. When they get to be of an age that they can be brought out of these chambers, they are brought to others that are similar to them, not necessarily other snow leopards, but just other feline type creatures that begin to train them in different manners. Now, she is trained as a warrior, but there are ones that are trained in the sciences. There are others that are trained in languages and so on and so forth. So it is a working community that they are building, and they are being taught things that normal humans would be taught. It is a little bit more militant, probably, than most, but they are learning the things that children and teenagers and college age students would potentially be learning. This has been going on for quite some time, and it's hard to tell age-wise, maybe how old she is. The average life of a snow leopard is probably, and I'm just spitballing here, I'm guessing, I don't have this information because I'm just making it up, but is probably 17 to 20 years, we'll say.
Sure.
More than likely she herself is already probably 17 to 20, but she's really roughly an older teenager in human years. So I mean, it's actually probably coincides with her actual age.
So she's, as far as Will's concerned, really just a kid. Okay.
But some of the others are certainly older because they were older and they were teaching her. So this has been going on for some time, if the math holds up.
So Mr. Arcane sees something that he probably hasn't seen before. Will's glib, kind of nonchalant surface cracks, and he looks like legitimately upset.
Well, he notices, but he doesn't bring it up yet. I'll wait for that moment to pass. I guess I'll wait for her to come to, I suppose.
Well, since he got to 69, I'm going to keep going, I think.
Oh, okay.
Because as we get past her training, we get past, all of that sort of stuff, we come more towards the present day, closer to the present day. And she and the rest of the Animan that you faced have kind of become somewhat of a squad of their own. Maybe not the elite squad, but they are, in the higher echelon of some of the more militant types. And he has brought this team together, and you can hear the High Evolutionary bring them in. He gives them just the information really that they need. That he has detected some more of our lost property. More of the stones. The treasured stones that are a part of our community. That give us the ability to make more of our family.
Interesting.
These stones have been scattered across the world, and only when they are brought together can I detect their frequency. And there are 12 that have been brought together and brought to life in a place called Budapest. And we shall travel, and we shall retain or regain our property. And it
That's
will
where
make
we
us
picked them up,
stronger.
right?
That's where you guys picked him up, yes.
Okay.
So, fast forwarding a little bit more, you see them coming into Budapest. hours after you guys had left.
Damn it!
So close.
And coming into the castle of the dragon and searching for them, he immediately goes to all of those little holes in the wall where the Dropa Stones were spinning, and just obliterates the room because they're not there. And then they begin the process of honing in on the frequency again. You see him shutting everything out, getting into a meditative pose and concentrating and focusing on the Dropa Stones again. He has now picked it back up in Paris and takes his crew and begins moving in that direction, just missing you guys yet again. And obviously,
So he's good and pissed.
yeah,
Is
he's
what
yeah,
you're getting.
It's like so frustrated.
yeah.
Oh, you should have seen him right before he did that charge.
All things being equal, while going through the Dark Force Dimension sucked, probably wasn't the worst thing we could have done under the circumstances.
Well, the thing is,
Just to mess with him.
Is that actually you didn't take the Dropa Stones with you? You left them.
Oh,
with,
that's true.
That's a
with
good
Peggy and
That's true.
Howard, and they got awful fucking close to getting there.
We were so focused on the Spear of Destiny that we didn't even think about the other ones.
And that's actually what allowed them to catch up to
Okay.
Wakanda at this point.
Okay.
So yeah. That little offshoot took just enough time to get them to catch up.
And Will, now having seen what his response in Budapest, thinks maybe he needs to reassess how much the High Evolutionary sucks. Okay. Might need to re-examine that a little bit. Okay, yeah. So he looks at Snow Queen and just kind of shakes his head. He's like, I am so sorry.
Why do you apologize to me?
Because no one should have to go through what you have. It's awful. No one should be treated like that. Man, animal, no one.
But I am strong. I am powerful.
Are you?
I am chosen.
Sure. World's full of chosen people who are lying dead. Doesn't need to be that way.
But I live.
You do. But you live because your opponent decided to use non-lethal methods to make sure to restrain you instead of doing something permanent. Your master put you at the mercy of completely unknown forces, and I'll be honest, 95% of the other ones would not have done what I did.
We have been chosen to protect the master. We will live and we will die at his request.
Why?
He made us. He gave us life.
He tortured you. He made you as a plaything, and then he tormented you. He tore you apart and put you back together like a jigsaw puzzle.
But I would not be here had he not chosen to make me. I would not live without Father.
Here's the thing that I'm not understanding, but it's something that my parents taught me, possibly not well enough, since, I haven't passed it on to anybody of my own, but the debt that exists between a parent and child does not flow from the child to the parent. It is up to the parent to provide the kid whatever it is that they need that's in their power to give. And that's not the relationship that your master has with any of his children.
But
he's a monster.
He is a god.
He's not. Gods don't get their asses kicked the way that he did.
Sure you're going to win this one?
I'm not going to win this one.
You're making good points, Will. think this is a thing that we've got to show her.
I think, yeah, this might be a longer term thing. I didn't mean to get off track. I'm sorry. I just, yeah, we've got some stuff to talk about. I think we have as much here as we're going to get. Are you
think so.
hungry? We can have food brought in.
The water has come in at this point, and it has been the bowl has been handed over to you.
I put it on the table for her.
She can't pick it up, so
Right.
she just sits down, perched on the table, and then gets down kind of on all fours with using the gauntlets kind of as a brace, and just starts licking the bowl like a typical house cat.
Yep. That doesn't feel great.
All right. Well, I guess if there's anything you want to ask us, is there anything you want to ask us? Snow Queen.
That's good.
Is it Snow Queen or Snow Queen?
I am Snow Queen.
Oh, okay. Snow Queen. Gotcha. Is there anything you want to ask us, Snow Queen? I am Hank, by the way.
You do not have fur.
I mean,
Well, no, I shave
on his
it.
head. On his head.
Well, that's hair. Fur is different.
That's fair.
But no.
You are an outsider.
Well, we're not from Wundagore or Vandagore.
She cocks her head a bit. Wundagore.
Oh, you know that name?
I can read a little.
Well, of course you can. You seem very smart.
I have seen this name
Where?
in my city.
In the mountain?
Aye, in the mountain.
Deep in the mountain?
Aye. You have been there.
No.
Am I getting images of where she saw this as well?
Yeah, it's a cave that looks like it's actually been carved into the mountain. It looks man carved.
No,
Oh,
but
that's-
I know.
That's good and creepy. Okay.
No, but I know stories. I've heard stories of a dark place in your mountain.
It is called the Dark Hold.
It is.
Kind of on the nose.
It is. He looks over. It is. Well, names have power, and sometimes the simple ones have the most power.
Fair.
What do you do there? Do you do anything there?
It is a quiet place.
It is an evil place. There is dark power that resides there.
It is a powerful place. And the goddess watches over it.
What goddess?
I believe she is a goddess. But not like Father is a god.
What does she look like? Does she look like me or more like you?
She is beautiful.
What does she look like? I'm sure she's picturing her in her head.
She is, yeah. And you're seeing a large statue
Okay.
of a woman wearing a very tight, form-fitting, like, suit and a long cape, long hair kind of billowing down towards her chest, and a small kind of pointed, like, crown.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Will gives Mr. Arcane a thumbs up again.
He nods. So, like me or more like you? Does this goddess, have fur?
She is like you. She is a sorceress. A witch.
Does that like ring any bells for Mr. Arcane or anything like that? Never heard of that, right?
Never heard of that.
Yeah. I see. And so this goddess is there?
Her presence is there. The power is there. I sense the power.
I see. Does this goddess get along with your master?
I do not know that he knows she exists.
Interesting. So you know something he doesn't know. Wait. Yes. You know something he doesn't know.
Perhaps.
Like the fur. Good choice.
Thanks.
I see. See, I knew you were smart. You're smart. You're a smart person.
Smart anime.
Animen can be persons.
We are different.
Well, I am different from him. He looks over at Will. And he and I are
significantly.
Yeah. And he and I are different than him, and he kind of nods back towards the warden, and the three of us are different than our friends. We're all different, right? It's okay. Still persons. Well, this has been very interesting. What do you think he wants to do? Why do you want the stones? Do you know?
They belong to us.
Well, okay. But I mean, I'm not sure they do.
They were made from our mountain.
Oh.
Wait, what?
They were made from our mountain. They are a part of our kingdom.
All right. Now, again, just to clarify my point there. So the Dropa Stones are supposed to be vibranium, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we only know of two places the vibranium, right? Well, we didn't know at all until the meeting. Then the king said, nope, it's Wakanda. Namor says, no, we have our own. So right now that's two sources.
Now there's a third.
That's not what I understand. I understand that metal only comes from two places, and your mountain is not one of them.
Then you are mistaken.
Interesting. Do you know where? Have you seen where the stones come from specifically?
She imagines in her mind another cave.
Will gives another thumbs up.
And this one is not man-made, at least the entrance. But as you go into the interior through her mind, you can see that there are signs of mining, but mining that would have been done centuries and centuries and centuries ago.
So
rudimentary.
Say ancient mining.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, looking at it in present day, which is what she sees, there's no evidence of vibranium here. But
it's possible that there was a vein that's now tapped.
Yeah. And this is where she has been told that the stones had come from.
But based on Will's expertise as a anthropologist, he recognizes the signs of ancient minds.
Mhm.
So honestly, not bad. It tracks.
So you say this comes from your mountain?
Aye.
What does he do you know what he uses them for? Does he tell you?
I have seen them spinning
Well,
in his
so have I.
laboratory.
What happens when they spin?
They provide power, they provide energy for his creation.
What creation?
The Animen.
So you're saying that he uses these stones to make more like you?
Yes. And Will, she's speaking the truth,
Mm-hmm.
but she doesn't really know how that works. And
We'll say it's the truth as she understands it, basically.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that makes sense. Well, so let me ask you this. You say do they get used up, these stones that you have, that he has?
I do not know, but
Have
there
you ever
are dozens.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Johnny, I think we may be getting into more engineering stuff, and that I don't know that she's going to be able to give us much here.
He nods. Okay. Well, have you ever seen one like crumble or fall apart or anything?
I have been told they are. And she's searching for a word, Will, but she can't come up with it.
They seem tough. They seem very durable.
Tough, yes. Cannot break.
Indestructible.
And she nods.
Well, so I mean, I guess you probably he turns. She probably doesn't know. She probably doesn't know. But if you have dozens of these stones, why do you need more?
The master says we need more
I see.
for
That makes sense.
perfection.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. As far as you go, Snow Queen, is there something that you need or you so I know of a story. Um, and I'm curious, did the story happen? Obviously, the story didn't happen first. I kind of wonder if somebody wandered through your life. Anyway, neither here nor there. But in the story, believe it or not, there is something that is well. It's certainly relate. It's outlandish, but is there anything that you need to remain as you are? Like, is there any medicine that you have to have, or any sort of I don't know, special food or anything to be as you are now? You understand what I'm asking?
We bathe in the vibrations of the stones.
I see. And what happens if you don't?
I do not know.
So looking back through her memories on what I got to see,
Mhm.
what does she mean by we bathe in the vibrations of the stones?
There are times that they are brought in individually.
Mhm.
Basically back to kind of like the gestation chambers, but it's a larger version of it.
Okay.
And there are several of these stones that are placed around the container and it like within it and are spinning, and to what you can kind of deduce, it seems as though they are powering whatever these chambers are.
So it's less they're bathing in the vibrations of the things, but these are a power source for whatever technology he's running.
That
Like
is
they're batteries.
that is the assumption that you would make after seeing
Okay.
that. Yes.
Okay.
So
Will gives a thumbs up again.
okay, he nods. Okay, so so my question, I guess, is if you have to stay here for a while, and he looks around, looks around in this cell, because this is its own kingdom, right? This is not our place. We don't. We're visitors, not quite like you, but we're visitors here, right? If you have to stay here, is anything bad going to happen to you because you're far from home?
I do not know. I have not been far from home.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess he turns and looks at Wells, or anything else?
No, I think we have what we need.
Okay.
But if
Yeah.
you decide you need something and you want to talk to us, just let the warden know and we'll let him know to get in touch with us.
Yeah. And I think I asked this, and I think I interrupted you, but is there anything you want to ask us?
No, you are outsiders. But
I would think that would be an excellent reason to want to ask us things.
But you have surprised me.
How so?
You seem kind.
Well, we are.
I mean, we have our moments, certainly.
When I'm not getting pummeled, and he holds his side. When I'm not getting pummeled, I tend to be even nicer. But like he said, if you have any questions, then ask for us, and I'll try to answer it as honestly as I can. I don't know what's going to happen to you, if I'm being honest. This kingdom has, I'm sure, he turns and looks at Will and the warden. I'm sure there are laws and rules, and I have no idea what this is going to be like.
That being said, they don't seem to be bloodthirsty.
They're not inhumane. That's true.
So
They're very.
I'm not actually there in the room with them, am I? Hearing this?
No.
Okay, because I was going to be thinking about Spartan when they said, "Oh, they don't seem to be bloodthirsty."
Yeah.
Now,
well,
now they is collective, not anyone. We're not talking about
it's a
anyone in
royal-
particular.
Yeah, it's a royal day.
That's
The
right.
It
Dropa
averages.
don't
It
fuck
averages.
around.
Okay, well,
They
good luck.
are business oriented. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Good luck. And he'll turn and wave,
Mhm.
wander off, knock at the at the door.
And she nods, finishes off the bowl of water, and then scurries back over into the
What?
Edge of the room.
What do you eat?
Meat, I
Rabbit.
guess?
Rabbit. Okay. Is there any particular fruit that you like?
Like the story.
I like rabbit.
You like rabbit? Okay. Let's see what we can do. I was assuming it was going to be fish. I mean, it's cat girl. Okay.
I swear it's like the story. It's like the guy went there and then wandered away and wrote a book about it.
I mean, that's entirely possible. It's not unheard of in anthropological settings. All the stories come from somewhere, right?
I guess. I wouldn't have guessed did he also encounter an alien invasion? Same guy.
I mean,
Oh, no, wait. Was it? Right, it was H.G. Wells.
That's H.G. Wells, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a question for Peggy, honestly.
Mr. Arcane, with what you just said, make and oh boy, make a reason feat with just straight reason.
Okay. Okay, well now I kind of want to make it, so I'm gonna
Come on, Red.
spend karma if I can. If I can, I'll spend karma. Oh, oh, so close!
Oh, so close!
So close! I'll make that a red.
Okay. Talking about H.G. Wells, talking about, the island of Dr. Moreau, and then now kind of talking about, like, War of the Worlds, right?
Uh-huh.
What if this cave that had the vibranium, we know that vibranium somehow is here in Wakanda. It was also somewhere in Atlantis, the oldest civilization that predates everything that you know about.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of civilizations around the world have very similar kind of cuneiforms, hieroglyphs, markings on walls and caves and stuff like that that are inexplicable, but when you start putting pieces of the puzzle together and you look at things that you yourself have recently experienced. What if vibranium is not natural to Earth and is otherworldly?
When you say otherworldly, do you mean like from Mars or from one of those demon dimensions that you keep walking through?
Like other dimensional?
It could be either, but the War of the Worlds thing is what kind of stands out because a lot of these hieroglyphs and so forth are depictions of what seem to be alien-like creatures. And you have certainly, you and Will both have seen depictions of creatures that are very similar to the ones that you saw, that Mr. Arcane saw in, where were we? Poland.
Yeah, in the camp, in the concentration camp or whatever.
Honestly, the Egyptian gods look a whole lot like the Animen.
Yeah, that too, right.
That is a good point.
So it almost, instead of being other dimensional, it almost seems potentially otherworldly. And if you think about it in the context of, okay, we know it's in Atlantis and we know it's in Wakanda. Those are the two deposits that we know about. Is it possible, because those are so far apart from one another, is it possible that these fell to Earth in some sort of asteroid or comet or something like that?
This was before continental drift theory, so yeah.
Okay, so well, I guess as we're walking away, it kind of hits him because he's, they're talking about like the story and, and then he talks about Wells's War of the Worlds. Like, what if this guy? I mean, what if he's kind of right? Like, what if he is writing about? Geez, maybe I should pull some of his other material. Oof. So, these creatures, these people exist, right? They are real.
They're definitely real.
And now they talk about the gates of heaven, but not heaven. He's having this conversation as they're walking back to Shelley and Tank and everybody else. What if this guy knew something, right? And he talks about heaven, but he doesn't mean heaven, capital H, like the Christian heaven. He kind of means like the firmament, like
the heavens,
the sky.
Here's the thing. If I'm not mistaken, H.G. Wells is still alive. I think he lives in
alive
London.
And can I put a pause on this for just a
Yeah.
moment, just so we can get everybody else involved? Can we say that this conversation now has kind of
Yeah, yeah.
led out in the hallway,
Oh, yeah,
and we have
most
everybody
definitely.
else?
Yeah,
in?
I assumed it
Yeah,
was.
that's what I was
why
getting at. Like,
talking.
Yep.
like this part is happening as they're walking up to Shelley and the rest of them.
Yep, we do the Aaron Sorkin walk and talk, and now we're there.
He died in 1946, so
46,
almost dead.
which it is
but
not
he's
46
alive.
yet. It's like what, 43, 44,
Yeah,
something.
yeah. He's got a
We're
couple of years to go.
We're sneaking in under the gun. We got him.
And we can kind of take for granted that during this process, the walk and talk, you guys getting back there and kind of filling everybody else in on what has just transpired, so we don't have to go through that. But so we're all caught up, and please.
And I kind of presume that Will has started to share this stuff that he learned from her, from Snow Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we'll full on info dumps.
Well, and we can use telepathy to share all of that with everybody all at once. I guess we could have done that while we were in there.
You know,
I didn't even think about that.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
I didn't think about that either. Well, it
That
came
would've
from
been
an item.
smart.
It's not one of his power sets,
Right.
originally. But so what if this guy, this Wells guy, the author, is a legit, like, there's no, okay, so Chris, there's no inkling that Hank has that Wells is some sort of oracle or seer, or there's been no like rumor or anything like that, right?
Popular science fiction author.
I would say within your circles, maybe not outside of that.
Right.
There has been some musings that Wells might have some sort of vision of the future, that he may know more, and this is just his way of just getting it out of his brain. Whether it is conscious or unconscious, there's a speculation there that perhaps maybe he does know more, maybe just a little bit than maybe what a normal human potentially would.
Okay, so now Hank's like, I think we should go talk to this. He's gone on this other side mission. I think we should go talk to this guy. Maybe he knows something.
I honestly, I think you're probably right.
I mean, you could just go talk to him.
That's true. I could.
You could just pop over there.
Yeah. So anyway, so what do the rest of you think about that? Right. I mean, we've shared with you what how that went. She says that he uses them to make more Animen.
Yeah, to be clear, she thinks it's some sort of magic vibration thing. I think they're a power source that they're using it to power like a battery.
Well, we
that makes
suspect
sense.
that's
Wasn't
true.
the Master of Death or whatever his name was? Wasn't he using them to power his ritual? He didn't have all of them.
Well,
but they were spinning, weren't they?
Yes,
I think
they were doing kind of what she described and kind of what Will shared in that vision.
So, I mean, it seems to me like you get more of them together, they're just more powerful. So he just like everybody who has power, he wants more power.
Well,
something's missing. I don't like that explanation. Something's missing.
Well, I mean, you could always ask him.
We should.
I think that's the move.
Did that skip on you guys? I missed a little part of that.
It didn't for me.
Yeah, I lost just a little bit of what you guys just said there. I'm sorry.
Oh,
We were going to go ask the High Evolutionary what he wanted them for, basically.
Okay. Stop, Siri.
Shut up, Siri.
Damn it, Siri. Yeah, so we were talking about, more stones, more power. He wants more power. We should probably talk to him.
I mean, he seems pretty full of himself. He definitely seems like the kind of guy that just like reasons. I don't know. You just.
It
That's
feels,
the feeling I got.
it feels too easy.
I mean, sure. There's probably more to it than that.
I'm sure I'll put it a different way, but it may just boil down to that, honestly.
Well, and for the record, again, she knew something about the Darkhold. Well,
She did.
the place, not the book.
Also,
The
for the
book
record,
was-
he's as bad as the Nazis. He tortures every one of those creatures to make them into animate.
Oh, is that how they got like that?
Yeah.
He
grows
made
them
out
in a,
of,
he,
out
he
of regular
grows them.
critters.
He grows them in a dish. They start off life as a regular critter, and then they go through an accelerated aging process where their bodies tear themselves apart and kind of put themselves back together as they elongate and become animate.
Bipedal.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, legitimately looks
she-
like a nightmare.
She seems surprisingly normal.
Much more so than she has any right to be.
I don't know what the rest of them will be like.
Well, the warden did warn us that some of the bigger ones were a lot more kind of grunty and murdery.
Yeah.
So maybe we don't go into those rooms.
Well, like anything else, probably some are smarter than the others.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, who knows if this is a process? I don't know. I don't know. In the story, some of them are more animalistic than the others.
Well, that seems to be borne out by what you were saying. The warden said.
Did she have any memories of that kind of thing that would bear that out?
That would bear what out?
That some are just straight more animalistic than others?
I think it depends on the... And we don't know what this terminology means.
Fair.
But the root DNA, probably.
Right. Well, and he's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, and
Like
how much human DNA is in there and how much animal DNA is in there. So there are certainly varying levels, yes.
Yeah. It really
Some
seems
are
like
more
it
human than
depends-
others. No.
It seems like it depends on the mix of man and beast.
Okay. Well, I think we should go talk to him, and this time I'll link the rest of us together so that you can hear what's going on. I'll let you focus on
him. Good.
Yeah,
call.
on trying
Okay.
to listen in, and I'll link us together. I don't know. I mean, she was pretty cooperative, but
much more so than I was expecting.
I can't imagine he's going to be cooperative.
No, I think he's going to hold a grudge.
He's going to hold a grudge.
Well, I know you're going to hold a
The
grudge.
grudge to be held. I feel like I'm owed it.
I mean, it is your turn. That's fair.
Jesus.
Just tell him if he doesn't cooperate, you're gonna send me in.
The rampaging.
Or Spartan with her knife.
Yeah.
See how effective
I mean-
that armor is when she peels it off of him.
Well, he does have one good eye left.
It's true.
Oh, that's right.
He might want to keep it.
That's right. The knife got stuck in his eye. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll go see if we can talk to him next.
Yeah, the
Take a
warden
quick
will
bio break.
caution you. Yeah, I'm sorry, what?
I'm going to take a quick bio break. real
Okay,
quick.
actually, why don't we all do
Yeah.
that
Yeah, me too.
before we go
Yeah.
in there? That's probably
Okay.
a really good idea.
Sounds good.
Me too.
Viewers,
What's
we'll
that,
be
chips
back
and
in about
salsa?
5
Got it.
minutes or so. Thank you. We'll be back
Okay,
soon.
be right back.
Dreamslayer Studios presents a wide selection of live tabletop role-playing game campaigns, specializing in fresh new independent games like Tales from the Loop and the Great American Novel, as well as traditional games such as the original Marvel Superheroes RPG by TSR and Savage Worlds. Our game master works hand in hand with the players to create one-of-a-kind original stories that are jam-packed with intense battles and in-depth character development that rely on creative and collaborative communal storytelling. So, If you're in the mood for something a little different than the typical Dungeons & Dragons fan, look no further than Dreamslayer Studios' RPG podcast. Available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and anywhere you consume your live play RPGs.
All right, we're back. And so the plan was, Mr. Arcane, are you going in alone this time?
I don't know.
He's not going in alone.
Like, no, Will's going in with him.
Okay. All right. So
if I was going to say, Will better go in with him.
But broadcasting it to the rest.
Because if he doesn't, Shelly is, and that's not a good, no.
Is that going to be two-way communication then, Will, this time?
Will's going to focus on the High Evolutionary, and Mr. Arcane is going to set up two-way communication with the team.
Got it.
Yeah, kind of a mental link with the group.
This time I will spend some of my precious karma that I have so little of left.
Okay.
Jerk.
Why?
Rub it in, why don't you?
That's not, that I don't have much karma left? I don't see how that's rubbing.
How much karma do you have?
204.
Oh, must be rough.
It is rough. You know how much I just dropped? That was a big drop, man. Okay, so yeah, spending karma. I would like to go to yellow if I can.
Alrighty.
So let's see. Where's my universal table? And my math.
And don't forget, we do have in Foundry, the universal table is there if you look under journals.
Mm-hmm.
If it's handy to have it there with you. Okay, so you're taking it to a yellow.
Oh, I'm at 40. What was I at?
The chamber that they have the High Evolutionary in is a larger chamber than the one that the Snow Queen was in.
Okay.
And this one is quite a bit taller. It's still kind of dome shaped, but you can see kind of the structure a little bit better in this room, and perhaps maybe they've just left it bare rather than actually kind of covering it, and it may be for a reason. It's made out of a bunch of hexagonal kind of shapes that make up the whole room. And the High Evolutionary is suspended in midair by kind of similar looking gauntlets to what the Snow Queen had, but they are attached to rather large cables that stretch out towards the ceiling. And he also has gauntlets on his feet that stretch out towards the floor to kind of a large, like, mechanical device. But he is awake as you enter.
How many eyes does he have?
How many eyes?
Yes. Did it grow back?
Oh, right. It did. Yes.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he looks as though he is mostly healed from the damage that he took. Some pretty serious regeneration powers.
Yeah.
We asked twice, now that's two-way count.
That makes one of us.
And Mark, since you just got back, just so you know, the conversation that's going to be happening here with the High Evolutionary is being broadcast kind of two-way, so if you guys want to communicate to Mr. Arcane, you may do so you can kind of speak through him if you have questions that, you want to be answered or at least broached with the High Evolutionary.
Just to be on the safe side, Will is going to ask himself not to be included in that circuit.
Okay.
Just in case.
Yeah. In case he's able to override it.
That's the thought.
Possess the whole team?
Okay.
Or just Shelly,
Let the interrogation begin.
Of course it would be Shelly.
Of course it would be Shelly.
My minion.
I've been waiting for you.
I've heard about you. All of the bad guys are talking amongst yourselves.
Well, when you guys do come in, He raises his head, and he kind of half smirks, half sneers at you as you walk in.
Huh. So this is where they keep gods. Who knew?
You've been
I don't
speaking
think
to
that's-
one of my children.
Yeah, they were speaking. I kind of got they basically think you're a god because you're their father. Now, I love my father. He's a good guy, tough, but he's not God. He makes mistakes. And, he never pretended he was.
What is it that they say? Mother is the name for God on the lips of small children.
I don't know who they are, but I ain't never said that.
Yeah, but I guess father's just some asshole that got hung up in a jail cell.
Oh! Cats, please.
So have you
Regardless.
just come to taunt me? Or are
No.
you here for a reason?
I mean, we're here for, I suppose, a little understanding of what's going on here. Why are you here?
What is there to understand? You took something that is mine.
Well, so you say, but...
Well, you don't look like you're a fish, and you don't look like the rest of the Wakandans, so I don't see how any of this vibranium is yours.
Is that the metal man speaking in my brain?
Yeah, hi.
Okay, well, we weren't doing that. So what I was saying that we were doing is Hank is letting everybody eavesdrop.
Okay, I'm
and
sorry.
he's linking
I
everybody
thought-
in.
You can certainly say that. That's no problem. I just wanted to clarify exactly what we were doing. So
We're not like trying to. He's not trying to like link him into everything. He
Gotcha.
just wants the rest of you to be able to hear it,
Right.
so that if you hear something, you can say, "Oh no, ask him." Blah blah blah.
Otherwise, Shelley's gonna get possessed again.
Yeah, good point.
Because
and is Will,
who knows what powers he has?
Yeah, is Will picking anything up from his attempt at telepathy or no?
you got a yellow, correct?
That's correct.
Look at his ability here. Just give me a sec. Nope. But he does have power dampeners on him.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a psyche roll that he made there, so that really doesn't get affected so much. So he knows you're there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's certainly attempting to try to keep you from pulling information that he does not want to give.
Yeah. Will glances over at Mr. Arcane and gives his head just a
Okay. Well, you claim that they're yours, but so do other people. So what makes you say that you have some stronger claim than others? I mean, the inscriptions are Atlantean.
The inscriptions are similar to Atlantis. Atlantis is the oldest civilization that you know of. But there are
you implying
civilizations
that-
that predate that.
Are you implying that yours is one of those?
Oh, no. No, my civilization is an evolution.
A little on the nose.
You're talking Hyborian era kind of myths and legend. There's nothing in the record to support that.
There was nothing in the record to support Atlantis either, but now we know it exists because the Atlantean prince is
I mean,
somewhere
there were-
outside these doors.
There were stories at the very
Yeah, the
least.
Greeks. And actually other sources also. Atlantean magic is known. It's been known for, well, a very long time. Millennia, I suppose.
But known to a select few, no?
Well, certainly.
Not common knowledge.
That's
You
fair.
seem to think that because you know of Atlantis, you know of the stories, you believe that it is real, and now we know that it is real, that there could be nothing that would have fallen before that?
Oh, I don't know. Hard to say.
None of that matters. What does he want the damn things for?
Yeah. Regardless, you claim they're yours. Why do you want them? What do you need them for?
Those stones belong to Wundagore. They were taken. The ore was taken from our caves millennia ago. Not a millennia ago. Millennia ago. Now, I have come by Wundagore as a humble servant, seeking it out on my own years ago, and I found the sacred land, and I have made it my home. So, do I own it? The stones that you have in your possessions. I do not own it, but I own their brothers and their sisters, and they are a family, and the family should be together in one place. You will use them for whatever means that you wish to use them, just as the Lord of Death attempted to do himself. But he was a fool, and he did not know the power that they actually possess.
Just like you use them as a power source.
That is true.
How's that different?
Touche. However,
he nods at Will.
However, with the family complete, I and my kingdom will finally reach the high evolution that I have dreamed of. And humanity will proceed to the level that it should be. Not the backwards apes that we are.
We. Says who? That we should be. Says
Sounds
who?
a lot like the stuff coming out of Goebbels.
Yeah.
I do not wish to punish or kill or destroy mankind.
I mean, the state of the streets outside begs to differ.
We simply wish to evolve you.
Who's we?
Yeah. Also ask him how come he thinks he knows how we should evolve. Isn't that the sort of thing we need to figure out for ourselves?
I and my animate.
And
Well-
what is this high evolution that you're trying to attain?
Our Earth, we are of one life, one mind.
You want to form a hive mind?
I do like the sound of that.
I don't.
Yeah, tell him
Yeah,
I
not a
don't
lot
like
of
it
room
either.
for.
Do you not
Not
thirst for knowledge? Do you not thirst for power? Do you not wish for things that you do not have?
Can you tell him I'm mostly thirsting for some beer right now?
Mr. Arcane chuckles to himself. He shakes his head. He's like,
There-
of course, knowledge is the pursuit of. I mean, I think. Well, most everyone, right? Everyone wants to know more. Power, I don't know. I don't know what this.
Every psychopath I come across lately
Yeah.
offering me power. I don't know what
Yeah.
this is.
Yeah, isn't this what the third or fourth one? I mean, there's.
This is, I think, number 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Right? There's fundamental force in the universe.
Yeah. His
There was a
kid.
different.
But the
Yeah.
power
Demi-
that I offer
Mhm.
you, I offer to everyone. There is no selfishness in what you refer to as a hive mind. We are all equal. We are all evolved. We are all gods.
There's no individuality. There's no
At that point,
self-determination.
everyone's
no.
the same, and that kind of homogeneity, that type of homogenization is boring.
Perfection is boring.
Yes.
I mean, perfection
would be
according
boring.
to who? I mean,
Even more
Oh.
Does this
specifically,
mission come
yes.
from him, or does this mission come from something else, like reading
Yeah.
the stones?
Are these your words? What? So you call yourself the High Evolutionary? That feels like a title. Do you have a name?
Oh,
He already told
names.
us. He said he said he went on an expedition to find Wundagore. That he is doing the server thing. What was the name of the guy who went on that expedition?
I have many names.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they had one your mom called you, though.
I have been called the Transient.
No, not that one.
I have been called Wyndham.
Wyndham. Okay, that sounds like a name.
That's
That sounds correct.
Herbert Wyndham was the story.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah. And I have been called.
Oh, yes.
I have been called
Well-
Wells.
I'm sorry?
Wait, what was that?
I have been called Wells.
H.G. Wells?
A pseudonym, of course.
No.
Well, love your work.
Well,
Some of it.
so that's you. Well, now he's annoyed. Well,
Will is too. He's like, just shakes his head.
Yeah.
Like, but your female parts are really underwritten, just as a critique.
so
Sign of the times.
he's a little stumped.
Yep.
So-
No, that threw Will too.
Okay, so you want the stones to complete this perfect evolution, this high evolution. Yes?
It will begin the process.
I have a potentially related and underlying question that's been it's been nagging at me a little bit, and I'm hoping maybe you can explain something to me. Just one thing.
Oh, do please regale me.
Is the cruelty in your methods a bug or a feature?
Yeah, because I guess Will got a full dose of that when he was
Mm-hmm.
that the rest of us didn't really get.
Yeah, no, like I said, Will was and continues to be kind of shook.
Do you remember your birth?
No.
Do you remember your time in the womb?
No. These Animen are not in the womb. These Animen are infant creatures who then their bodies undergo violent, painful, traumatizing change.
But the process of development within the womb has merely been extended.
I don't buy that.
Do you recall pain when you were but a fetus?
No.
Then
But these
who
aren't
is to say that you did not experience it?
these aren't fetuses. These are living creatures that are ambulatory, that are moving around on their own.
And
for all intents and purposes, babies.
And we're probably going to get into a bit of dialogue here that maybe we need to X out.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he does bring up the argument of consciousness and all of that. And when does it begin, and so forth. And so you get into a very deep discussion about that.
Hey, that's philosophy. Will's ready to go.
And he is adamant on his belief that it begins at the moment of conception.
Yeah.
And there's no talking him out of that.
Right.
Okay. Well,
Will's basic summary on that is his response is, it sounds like you feel like it begins when you say so.
And
well,
he literally laughs at that. Because he believes you to be foolish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Priest comes back in and says, could we go back and ask him about who's giving him his agenda, whether it's himself or he's getting it from an outside source?
Yeah. So Mr. Arcane nods, to no one in particular, right? And he says, okay. So listen, this plan, this high evolution, this riddle, right? But do you mean to say that this is your plan, or are you getting this from somewhere else?
I knew before I made the journey into the mountains of Transia. I knew that humanity had not reached its fullest potential. I did not have the means with which to A, convince my peers of that fact, and B, to push evolution in the correct direction.
How did you know that, though? What do you mean you knew it?
We are stupid. And I believe that after millions of years, something stalled us. And I have yet to discover what that is. But I have been enlightened with my studies that began over half a century ago. Actually, I think perhaps I might be approaching my 100th year in Wundagore. But time has lost all of its meaning.
Tell him he doesn't look a day over 95.
Well, we can't see his face, he mutters.
It's fuchsia. It really youthened you.
So now that I'm sitting here staring at him and, I'm not in mortal danger that I'm aware of, his uniform, is that metallic? Is it armor? Is it part of him? Can I determine that? Does it seem to be his skin or replaced his skin? Like, what am I looking at now that I'm, not in Mortal Kombat?
You make a reason.
Okay.
I would like to try to do that too if I can.
While you're doing that, Shelly pipes up finally. It's like, could someone point out the painfully obvious fact that it is not his place to choose for everybody else?
Yeah, seriously.
I will.
All right, greens for both of you guys?
Yep.
Yes.
I mean, it has an armor-like quality. It looks metallic, but his face has that same kind of metallic quality as well. And Will, you asked about the eye, and I mean, it was gone. It has now reformed, and the metal that would have been around that area that would have been damaged in that process has also reformed.
Does it remind us of the liquid metal stuff that the one Terminator was?
Not really.
Okay.
But I mean, it's hard to say because he is completely solid.
Right. Interesting. Okay.
Okay. Well, listen, you think that there's some next step for us and that you're the one to do it. Well, I mean, why do you feel like that's your decision? I mean, this process is, right, millions of years, right? So even 100 years, 1,000 years, I mean, that's literally nothing.
And so was the step from Cro-Magnon Man to
which took a long time, I understand. I don't know how long, but I know it was long.
Not as long as one would think. Something happened. Something forced the evolution.
Well, according to the archaeological record, because now we're into Will's thing again, he just goes on a dissertation.
And he will debate that
Mm-hmm.
ad nauseum. And you find yourselves kind of talking in circles with him.
I was about to say,
At some point,
okay, doctor,
Hank is going to
relax.
interrupt and say, "Look, as far as I'm concerned, the main question here is, does Wakanda have the facilities and power to bring this guy to some kind of justice and hold him, or do we have to take responsibility for him?" And
are we going to take responsibility for?
I don't know. I mean,
okay.
Do you got another pocket dimension we can throw him into?
Nope, just the one.
Well, something to consider is he probably actually technically has a standing army, quote unquote, in his kingdom. So if he doesn't go back, Wakanda is possibly going to have to suffer some type of repercussions from that. Just bringing that up.
Well, it doesn't look like you're going to get a chance to complete your ultimate evolution. It appears that you're tied up for a while. I feel like this king here is going to have some issue with you attacking his people. Right? That's not my area, but surely there will be consequences for you.
Help me. What are your intentions for these stones? You have traveled thousands of miles to a country that most people do not even know exists. To bring them here, for what purpose?
Well, that is a great question.
To understand
that is a great
them,
question.
But now we just want to keep them out of the hands of psychos like you.
I mean,
you
mostly.
didn't know that. Well, you're not there, but
No, that's what Hank
Well,
is
actually,
hearing in his ears.
yeah.
I mean,
Shelley's thinking very
well, I
loudly.
mean, Hank is saying basically the same thing. Well, our intent initially was to keep them out of the hands of a dictator, right? The one that we find ourselves at odds with, or at least our soldiers do. And now, I mean, some of the things you say sound awful similar to the master race and, pure evolution. I mean, you have to admit there is some similarity there. So honestly, if we're being completely honest, I'm not sure. We stopped one ritual from the Lord of Death. Lord of Death, and now it sounds like you want to use these for something you're gonna. I mean, it sounds to me like you're gonna force it on the rest of us, which I'm not about that either.
Well, so your intention is just to keep them away from the tiny despot.
No, we want to understand them.
Why?
Well, and there is the mystery.
Ah, the mystery. Solving the
I
mystery.
love the mystery.
Solving the mystery, exploring and understanding the unknown. They're the
Gates
great
of
drivers
heaven.
that make humanity human, that power evolution.
Gates of heaven, visitors here, cogs in the wheel.
Interesting. You are smarter than I perhaps gave you credit for. And now, I want to know just how far you'll take it. Cogs in the wheel, you said.
Well, technically one cog in the wheel, but yes.
Perhaps you have precognitive abilities that you do not even know about. Now, I'm intrigued.
Well,
let me tell you, there are more than 700 of these Dropa Stones scattered about the world. I have close to 100 in my possession. You have 12 that were scattered.
Did we ever say that? I don't think we ever said that out loud, right?
No, we didn't.
We've never said that we had 12. Okay.
Now I want to see what you will do with it. I think I'll be watching from afar.
You mean from yourself?
Oh, here, this is but a vessel. For now, I will take my leave. You may have the stones. Eventually, perhaps decades down the line, I will reclaim them. But I wish you luck, and I am excited to see what the Dropa Stones bring you.
Do your stones have a riddle also? He interrupts like he's like...
I believe you might be on the verge. Use the cog in the wheel, as you say, in your brain, and see what mechanism it belongs to.
Okay, so I also want to try and stall him a little bit for just a few more seconds. That's why I'm asking him. And I want to subtly try to do something. I don't know if I can do this or not.
Okay.
But I want to, and you know what? Actually, I can't. You can't subtly use entreaties, right? You have to say stuff out loud. So so he'll say, oh no, Will's not part of it. All right.
No, I'm afraid I outsmarted ourselves on that one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right now.
All right, never mind. That won't work that way. So I interrupted artificially, but
What do you want to try now that
so
we're stopped,
I want
what do you want
to
try?
Yeah, so I want to try and use one of his dimensional entreaties to let me go to the specific one. So I want to try and use the crystal, which was part of, I believe that was Hoggoth's thing, wasn't it? No, it was Ashtur's. I want to try and use the crystal, right? You know how you can create a large blue crystal, which won't encase a whole person.
Mm-hmm.
But what I want to do is try to anchor him, because, you know, Mr. Arcane would think, not necessarily accurately, but he would think that, oh, well, these are just chains, whatever, but I'll try and make a mystic anchor, right? To try and anchor him here, right? He's clearly like announcing, hey, bitches, I'm about to get out of here.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, oh, you know, I'm about to take my leave. Boom, right?
Peace.
And so
you want to create a blue crystal around him, essentially, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, around, like, say his feet, for example. Like, I want to try and use the crystal to kind of, you know, reinforce the chains that are on him.
Okay. Make a reason feat first.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's a yeller.
Okay. And in these moments that are going through your mind, what am I going to do? I'm going to trap him. I'm going to keep him here.
Yeah.
And you're realizing now that he is saying that he is going to leave, but he has no means of getting out of here. He doesn't have his power.
Okay.
Because they are taking his power away through these gauntlets.
Okay. All right. Well, so in that case, rather than try and invoke anything, he'll just say, I don't think you understand your circumstance. I don't believe you're in a position to go anywhere. I think you're going to be here for a while.
I don't believe you know who you are talking to.
Well, that is true, because I did not think I was talking to H.G. Wells. You got me on that.
Yep, no, that one threw me too.
You bamboozled me on that one, because I'll be honest with you, my next stop was going to be trying to find the author, who was maybe an oracle and didn't know it.
And
or
Will,
he was.
You saw his head bow.
Mm-hmm.
His consciousness is gone.
Frack.
It's an empty shell. He was apparently projecting his mind into it? I don't know. But I'm going to bet that Howard Stark is going to love to take a look at this armor.
Okay, so then I want to cast another spell.
Okay.
A different spell. A different spell. So let me look for the detection spells.
Mm-hmm.
How do they list them here? Sensing, I think. Different sensing ones. Yes, there we go. So so I probably should have done this earlier, but whatever. So there's a spell called Sensing Identity.
Mm-hmm.
And the spell says the caster can mystically scan the mind of anybody he can see within his area of spell and determine the person's true identity. The target is another magic wielder. or a character with mental powers, they're allowed a psyche feat to resist. So that's what I'm going to try.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to see if there's anyone home.
Okay.
And or if this is a body. And maybe it's like, maybe he was just driving.
Mm-hmm.
So
rocket.
Yeah, so I will spend karma.
What?
I know. Well, I don't buy a lot of powers. And I'll make that yellow.
Okay.
Because you have all of them already.
So
well, yeah, but they're not great.
You are attempting to see if there is a consciousness here, if there is a mind here, what is it exactly?
So I'm trying to determine okay, one, is there a mind there?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I guess that would be the first step. Is there a mind there? Is there is there a psyche there? Is there a mind?
So you know about life and you know about death. And you know what happens when the brain dies.
Uh-huh.
He just died. The synapses are still firing, but the consciousness is gone.
Okay. So there is a mind. There was a mind there.
Yes.
Okay.
Which leads you to believe that there is a brain inside the shell of this body.
And is there enough left there for me to determine who that was? Or is that just kind of gone?
Red psyche feat.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'll try and make a psyche.
All right. I'm sorry. If there's a power or whatever that you can use to do that, you can do that instead if that's better.
I mean, not natively.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll just make a psyche.
Mm-hmm.
That would be better, and I'll spend karma for that too. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a no. But
okay.
I guess I'll just spend my 10.
Yeah, you're not able to get a
slipping
feel for
away.
Who he was, what it was. Yeah.
Okay,
but it's like a switch just turned off. Like normally when somebody dies, it's a long and arduous process. Even individuals that seem to just have something traumatic happen to them and die in battle, and something goes through the brain and so forth, there is still moments of cognizance. There is still a conscious that is there. This shut off. And the brain activity was still kind of, but it was like, and we don't have a reference to this, but it was like a computer shutting down. Just
Well, so he'll say out loud and broadcast to the others, well, whatever that was, whoever that was, it's gone now.
I think he might have let something more slip than he meant to.
How so?
Well, there are 700 stones. We have 12 here. He has a little over 100 where he is.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible, since he was able to trace the energy signature from the stones, that we might be able to trace the energy signature from the stones.
Sure.
There are a couple different ways we could try to do it. I'm sure that you have something you could do.
I mean, I don't. Maybe I don't know.
I might be able to do something similar to what I tried to do with the liquid metal thing, where we traced it back to.
It is a discipline that is not unknown to me, but I.
Well, you said that fellow was no mage, right? He was no mystic.
No, not at all.
Mm-mm.
Then he was using technology somehow, right?
Presumably.
Howard's already working on him.
This is so far beyond Howard. It's not even
Well,
funny.
he's got those other big brains with him.
And
Wakanda's
speaking
got-
of Howard, you hear footsteps coming down the hallway, and Howard Stark just kind of slides across the hall and sees you guys, and then comes back, and he's like, I did it. We cracked it. Come on. You gotta go. We gotta go. You gotta see this. Come on.
Oh. We didn't do it.
Okay. So he's dead, and that armor's really high tech. That could become useful at some point, I think.
And he's already running away, but then he slides again and then comes running back down, and he looks inside and he sees, the High Evolutionary's body just hanging there. He's like, he's not going anywhere, right?
No.
He's not there?
He's not there.
He's...
Okay,
No.
Sweet. Project for another day. Come on, let's go.
Oh. Okay. I'll broadcast to the others.
I
Sounds like Howard's onto something.
And he runs you guys back to, and you guys haven't actually been here. You've heard them talking about the Wakanda laboratories and all of that sort of stuff. And it's a bit of a haul to get there. It's on the opposite side of where you guys are in relation to the palace. But he runs up the steps to the lab, goes inside, and this is a really incredible, high-tech laboratory. Stuff in here that none of you have ever seen, with maybe the exception of Priest.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Does it look like the room the Vision was in?
Ooh.
The room that you are currently in, no. But there is a similarity to the tech here, for sure.
Cool.
The room that you are in right now is kind of a white room that has kind of metallic tiles that are kind of surrounding the whole thing. There's a window in here that kind of lets people view what's going on. There's a lot of mechanical devices that are kind of hanging from the ceiling and so forth. And what he's got now is he's got all the Dropa Stones, and he and the other scientists have basically created these what look to be almost like magnetic coils. They've got these electronic coils that are wrapped around them, and there are 12 of them that he has placed perfectly spaced around this table, and they're on the floor, but then the table is clear of everything in the middle. And he says, okay, all right, now. And the stones right now are just sitting on top of what look like these kind of large, electromagnets, okay? He says, all right, okay, just everybody hold your horses. Stay outside.
I have no horses.
Stay outside, look through the window just in case anything happens, but I gotta flip the switch in here. And so he goes inside, and he flips the switch.
Will puts on his Dark Force aura.
Is Tank's
Prince
on?
Namor around?
Oh yeah, I'll put force field
Yeah,
up, too.
Namor's there too. Yeah, Namor
Namor's
and
here,
Azuri.
and
Yeah.
King Azuri? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, everybody's there.
What's their demeanor? I mean, I imagine Namor's probably got his arms crossed and standing there like he's bored out of his mind with everything. He's already done
Very
everything.
annoyed.
What's Namor's demeanor? Haughty.
Yeah. What about the king?
Azuri,
excited?
It seems as though Azuri maybe has already seen what Stark is about to show you.
Okay.
Because he too is standing regally, but arms crossed, and he has one eye kind of side eye on what you guys are getting ready to witness, but mostly looking at you for your reactions.
Okay.
Okay.
And as Stark is kind of going through the process, he's letting you know that he and the scientists have been working together to discern the translations of those little microchip type things, the carvings inside the carvings. And he realized that it's really not a language but it's more of a code, is basically what he describes. And when these are placed in the correct order, and we can control the velocity at which they spin, something, and he looks over at Mr. Arcane, he says, I can't really say any other word, but magical kind of happens. It's not really magical, it's ancient tech.
I think you mean fantastical.
There you go. That's the word. And he then flips the switch, which causes all the stones to float like you saw them floating before, and they all begin to spin. He has a dial that he then begins to kind of tweak in like a series of like buttons and dials on this contraption that he has kind of created. And you start to see the stones begin, some of them beginning to spin in opposite directions of one another. So instead of all going like clockwise like they were going back in Bucharest, they're spinning in different directions. Some of them tip up on a side, so they're all going all different directions. And as this happens, all of a sudden you begin to see what you can only describe as like a mirage. But for those of us that know more about technology, it's a hologram.
Okay.
That appears above the table that's in the center of the room. And you basically see a map of the Earth. And you see this map of the Earth that dates back to what someone called like the Hyborian era, when all of the continents were all together at one point. And you see a rain of comets, asteroids. And there are 3 that land in various places. One that lands in where Wakanda would have been. One that lands in the island of Atlantis, or just offshore of the island of Atlantis. And another that lands in what would be considered current Wundagore. And then you see the Earth begin to transform. Millions of years pass, and the continents all begin to move into the positions that we know where they currently are. And then you begin to see little dots appear. A series of, let's see here. Hang on just one second. Let me pull something else up here.
578.
It's something weird that's in my way. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5. So a series of 5 dots that appear in different locations. 2 of which are very close together. There are 2 dots that are glowing red on this mirage that are in Rome.
That are in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's another one that is in Iraq. Another that is located in Russia. And another that is located in Maine. And from this, Stark begins to kind of turn some of these dials, push a few more buttons, and then you start to see very intricate patterns begin to take shape. The first one is this. And Stark says, all right.
Oh.
Any of you guys recognize this thing?
No.
Does Will recognize it?
Will, you can make a...
It looks like some of the things I saw in chemistry class. I wasn't really paying a lot of attention.
Yeah, could I make one too?
Yeah, if you have antiquities,
I
you
do.
use that. If you don't have antiquities, then it's just a straight reason.
And yellow.
You got a yellow?
Okay, I'll spend karma. I'll just spend 10.
10? Okay. What does that bring you up to?
I mean, for me, I got a white.
Oh, okay, got it. I'm not
so
looking at that right now. I got too many
monstrous.
windows
Okay.
open. So Stark says, actually, Will, you do recognize this. This is something called the Roman dodecahedron.
Mm-hmm. I share that with everyone.
And he was like, you get a cookie. And he says, really close to this, take a look. Right here. And I'm going to keep that roll for you because all of this stuff is kind of connected, Will.
Okay.
This one's a bit of a stretch for you, but you have seen something similar to this in your studies.
Mm-hmm.
What you have seen is kind of more of like an impression of this and maybe kind of just a section of this particular item. But this is something called the Antikythera mechanism.
Okay. I share that as well.
And let me see here. I need to... Well, I'll do that later.
So what does it do?
Oh, we'll get to that, babe. Hold on just a second. Alright, so then we shoot over to Iraq. And this image pops up.
Okay.
And it looks like a big pot
Mm-hmm.
with like a liquid that maybe would be going inside. Do you know what this is, Will?
That, if I remember correctly, is a battery.
It's a battery.
Yeah, lizard knows what it is. Human tank does not.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is something called the Baghdad battery.
Yep, that's the one.
This one looks basically just kind of like a gear.
Yeah.
But it's old, it's ancient, something that would have been made many, many years before, like, true gears would have been really made. But it looks like a cog.
Hmm.
And this is something that is called the Russian tooth wheel. And then finally, you have a simple coin that looks like it has Nordic style runes on it. And this particular item, any guesses?
Looks like a coin or a shield to tank.
It is a coin. It is something called the Goddard coin.
No, I've never heard of that.
And then he says, okay, so our archaeological friend here kind of knows basically what these things are. A lot of these things, most people don't really believe actually exist, or if they did exist, they were destroyed at one point. That very well may be the case. But if we take all of these things, including those 12 Dropa Stones that we got floating around, and put them all together, check this out. And then he turns some more dials, punches some more buttons, and they all begin to form together as one mechanism. These things have been floating around this planet for God knows how long, but they're all part of a bigger piece. And whatever this thing is, I don't know what it does just yet. But if the Reich knows that these Dropa Stones exist, and if there are more of these out there, which I am told that there are, they may already have their hands on 12 more of these things, and if they can figure out the frequency like I just did, they've got the pieces of the puzzle to put this mechanism together, and whatever this does, it could be something that might decide the fate of the war.
Well, it looks like we're going to Rome.
That would be I guess Rome or Iraq. Which one is closer?
We're
Rome
in Africa,
would be the closest to you guys at this point. Yeah.
And more specifically, the one that the Axis have better access to.
I think the Italians are out of the war by this point. What year is it?
It's 43. I think they're still in it. Yeah.
I think they're still there. When did Mussolini die?
Well, I mean, in this case, they're still in it, right?
Right.
Yeah, he didn't
Doesn't
die
matter
in
if they were or not.
1945, so
Yeah. Okay,
okay.
So the stones and the artifacts are the artifacts made from the material the stones are made from?
That I got no idea. But somehow all of these things are connected.
Baghdad battery is mostly, I mean, there is a metallic portion, so it's possible, but it's mostly clay and liquid.
That would be my assumption, yeah.
Yeah.
But something that has survived this long, if that's the case. So
That's
maybe
true.
it's made out of something more than just plain old clay.
That's true.
Well, I mean, certainly even simple clay can be enchanted.
Will is going to take a stab at something. I'm going to spend karma for a power stunt and hopefully have enough karma that I can make it work. And I'm going to try to use the same energy detection trick that I did before, but I'm going to try to use it on the Dropa Stones to see if we can track that back and if Will can do his own version of what Stark is doing.
Okay.
So that we can try to do something kind of on the fly. So let's see if this works.
You mean like the High Evolutionary did to find them, or something else?
I basically like that, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I need a yellow. Come on, please, green. I do not have permission to roll on Incredible. What?
Not.
What? I'm going to roll something else that's on Incredible.
You're just not incredible enough.
Or I could do that.
There you are.
Nice.
You begin to spout out what you just said to Stark, and he's like, "You're a man that thinks just like I do. I've got an idea, and if you and I put our heads together tonight, I think we can probably put something together that's going to give us almost at least close coordinates about where we might be able to find these things. We've got the pinpoints, but it's a wide area, and we'd be throwing a dart trying to figure it out. But I think if we can focus in on the frequencies that these stones are putting out, and we can somehow recreate that, miniaturize it, I think we can get some sort of detection device that you guys can take with you on the road, and when you get in the area where these things are located, it should be able to ping them.
Howard, I think I can just feel it.
How so?
Well, the way that energy moves through space, Dark Force is connected on a dimensional level. And there are resonances from each of the different frequencies that you can feel the connection between if you can feel it through the Dark Force. So if I extend my perceptions into the Dark Force dimension, I can feel where these stones are connecting to those objects.
He slams the table and he's like, "God damn it, you're going to use fucking magic. I knew it."
Sure.
All right. Okay, your
That's
magic
not
is
magic.
better than my magic. All right, so if you can do it, do you need one of the stones?
I don't think so, no.
All
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Will just kind of can feel the energy from those and kind of look to at how they connect, or does he need one of the stones for the original kind of source?
It's possible, but I think maybe what Stark is suggesting in his rudimentary understanding of magic, and it's not magic, but
it's supposed to say Johnny is so offended.
What?
It's not magic. It's not.
What he's suggesting maybe wouldn't hurt.
Okay.
You know,
that'll make it easier.
If anything, it would give you a focus, and maybe taking one of them, number one, would prevent the rest of them from being used, because it seems like it's got to be all 12 of them used together to activate whatever they're going to activate. And it sounds like they have different abilities depending on the frequency that they're moving.
Is it? Is it just any 12, or is it these 12? Or do we have any idea?
I think the assumption with what you should be able to draw with the assumption that the High Evolutionary was saying is that he has many of these. He knew that you had 12.
Right.
Whether it was he knew it or assumed it, the 12 of these together were creating some sort of resonance that he was able to track.
Right.
So it seems like there has to be a certain number of them put together for them to be able to work in the way that they need to work for whatever purpose they are set for.
Well, that could make some sense, right? I mean, 12's a particular number, right? Zodiac, some other things, I guess. I don't know. Who knows? 12's a number. It's has some significance. Very curious.
All right, so you take one of the stones. You haul your ass to Rome. See if your theory works. I've got a little bit of time. Give me till tomorrow morning, and I'm going to see if I can bump up my communication device so that we can communicate with one another over a little bit longer of a stretch. With the tech that they've got here in Wakanda, I think I can really pull off a true long-range communication device.
Okay.
So if you can give me about 24 hours, maybe not even that. Give me till tomorrow morning, say around 10 o'clock, and I think I can probably cobble something together that ought to be able to give us the opportunity to communicate if we need to.
Priest says, speaking of communication,
you're
going to give me at least 24 minutes of your time, because we have some things to talk about.
24 minutes. All right.
10:30 tomorrow morning.
10:30, 10:25 tomorrow morning. That's when we're doing it. So you and I will have a talk once I get this thing put together. I like your outfit.
Thanks.
And with that, I think we'll probably call it to a close for tonight. That'll be a really great cliffhanger for us.
Nice.
Mark, remind me that we're going to have that conversation right off the bat.
Okay.
So don't let me forget.
Sure thing.
All right. Karma for tonight. We really didn't do any battle. So
nope.
But I'm going to give you guys some karma for sure for getting to this point. And I'm going to just dole out 250 karma points for everybody for
nice.
tonight.
Hey, I've got karma again.
Hey, look, you got karma again, buddy.
Hey.
Yay.
That's great.
You didn't even have to rescue any orphans.
I mean,
no orphans.
True.
Well, that was very.
All I did was backseat drive an interrogation.
Yeah. It was a very talky episode. We get those from time to time, and for those of you that were kind of taking a little backseat this time, I definitely appreciate you participating and so forth. And I hope that it was a really nice information dump. I got a lot of stuff out, and truthfully, a lot of the stuff that we were dealing with Wundagore and all of that sort of stuff, never was an intention of mine when I was putting all this together. So we're again making it up as we go along. but that was
It's
a lot
awesome.
of fun to kind of create all of that just on.
I love how we're
fly,
bringing so many different elements from
Yeah.
so many different pieces of the
I did not
the
expect him to be
universe.
Wells. Damn it!
Well, you gave me that
Bullshit.
idea. I had
you
to
got
take
you got us. You got us.
I was
That's
curious
rude.
if that was in the Marvel universe or not, or if you were bringing it into the game.
No.
That's
No,
cool.
no,
I like the twist.
that I was yes-anding that all the way, but
Nice.
as soon as you started bringing that in, I was like, oh shit, I gotta go with that.
So, as a heads up for next time,
Yeah.
I will have just landed in Atlanta for a work conference.
Okay.
But by the time this starts, I think I should be back in my room.
Mhm.
But I will be on a laptop without my headset, so
All right.
yeah, it'll be a little different, and I may be a little frazzled, but I should be here.
Do you have like even just like the iPhone like headphone type stuff that you can put into a jack?
I mean, my headphones plug in, but it needs a mic port, and I don't think my laptop has one of those.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I'll see what I can do.
I think my experience with some of those iPhone ones is that if you just plug them into like the headphone jack, it actually will pick up the mic on that.
So I know I have a set of Bluetooth. What are they called? The ones that vibrate in your jawbone.
Bone
So that would at
induction?
least, that would at least stop the noise from the speakers if my work laptop has Bluetooth, which it may not. You know what? I'm just going to see if I can pick up a cheap pair of headphones.
It probably does.
No
that.
big deal. I was just
mean-
trying to help you out because that might that might make it a better experience for you.
I have a USB headset spare if you need it done. It's big though, so I don't know if you want to bother. with
That's what she said.
I mean, she certainly hoped anyway. Yeah, but I may take you up on that because that basically is what I'm looking at. So we'll see.
Don, I had a question for you. When you were doing your dialogue with Snow Queen about parents and what parents are supposed to be like, was that something that do you think the Fiend was listening? Because the Fiend doesn't have that kind of relationship with their parent, but it's a really good explanation to them.
And that's the thing, is that pretty much everything that Will says, the Fiend is listening to. It's always looking for something. It's always trying to find a way through. So, I'm not sure how it liked that particular conversation. Probably didn't like it a lot, honestly.
Well, I thought it was pretty cool.
Thinks we're all a bunch of weak nothings.
For sure.
Just soft flesh waiting to be rent.
Except we keep kicking their asses so badly.
All right. Well,
bring us your gods. We'll show you what's up.
I think we'll call it for tonight. It was good playing with everybody, and we'll meet back here in 2 weeks. For those of you watching, thank you all for watching tonight. We appreciate it. And we'll see you all in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Take care, everybody.
Beth, I hope y'all feel better.
Yes, Hope you guys feel better.
Feel better.
Ian, Beth.
You should feel a lot better by then.
All righty.
Just say no to COVID.
Yes.
Yeah. See you.
Yeah, if the other 60,000 people at Gen Con had done that, we wouldn't be in this mess.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Later, y'all.